This is Alan Ball.
Hi, this is Audrey Fisher.
This is Jim Perry.
Hi, this is Kristen Bauer.
Hi, this is Alexander Skarsgård.
This is Nelson Ellis.
Hi, this is Johnny Neal.
This is Rayo Tucker. Hi, this is Lindsay Pulsifer.
Hi, this is Ryan Quanton from True Blood. Hello, this is Theo Alexander.
Hey, this is Lauren Bowles.
Hi, this is David Tishman.
This is James Frayne, and you're listening to True Blood Radio.
This is Liz.
This is Mel.
Welcome to True-Blood.net Vodcast, episode 127 for Thursday, March 24th. We've got a little news roundup for you today because we really want to get into talking about the C2E2 that happened in Chicago, as well as South by Southwest, which happened a couple weeks ago. So let's get to it.
We want to start out by congratulating True Blood on their GLAAD Award and their Genesis Award. True Blood was honored with a Genesis Award from the Humane Society of the United States last Saturday for the show's depiction of dogfighting in the season 3 episode Hitting the Ground. You may remember that one. It was pretty hard-hitting and very honest about what happens there. And Carrie Preston and Lindsay Pulsifer attended and accepted the award on True Blood's behalf. And the show also won the GLAAD Award for Outstanding Drama Series. And GLAAD, of course, is the Gay Lesbian Association for Anti-Defamation, something like that. Anyway, it was for their realistic and respectful portrayal of gays and lesbians on television.
All very cool. Congratulations. And True Blood composer and cutie pie music genius Nathan Barr has been tapped to score a feature film, 30 Minutes or Less. It's the title of the film. It's an action comedy starring Oscar nominee Jesse Eisenberg, Danny McBride, and Nick Swardson. In 30 Minutes or Less, Eisenberg plays Nick, a small-town pizza delivery driver who is kidnapped by two wannabe criminal masterminds played by McBride and Swardson and forced to rob a bank. Nick enlists Chet, his ex-best friend, played by Aziz Ansari, and they are immediately caught up in hired assassins, police, and flamethrowers. Sounds pretty funny. The film is currently in post-production for August 2011's wide release. So congratulations, Nate. Way to go. He's such a cutie.
He is a cutie. And if you want to catch up with Nate, we just saw that he will be at WonderCon this year. He's part of a panel of the music composers in film and television. That'll be on Friday at WonderCon, Friday, April the 1st. You can go to comic-con.org and check out the WonderCon lineup for more details on that. Now, many of you have emailed asking when Season 3 would run again on HBO, and we finally have an answer. HBO just announced that they will rerun Season 3 beginning Sunday, April 3rd at 7 p.m. Central. That's 8/7 Central. And that'll be leading up, of course, to the Season 4 premiere, which we think is June 12th, but they're not confirming that, but we're guessing. So mark your calendar, set your DVRs. It's time to record Season 3 and watch it all over again.
Yoo-hoo! Relive the moments.
Right.
Well, this past Saturday during the whole day, actually, I stayed for the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, which happened at McCormick Place here, downtown Chicago. Beautiful, beautiful convention center. I remember when it was just a big old box with a flat roof. Now it's this gorgeous building, laid out really, really well. And I was there to cover the True Blood panel, which consisted of Sam Trammell, Kristen Bauer, and Debbie Peltz, Britt Morgan, who is, by the way, that was her first convention that she's ever done. She was really nervous, but she did really, really well. And as I was sitting there watching her, I couldn't help but think she's really a good actress to play Debbie Pelt. I mean, she just wasn't like her at all.
Is she like a real sweetie?
Yeah, she was cute, she was bubbly, she was, not like the strong, dominant personality that Debbie Pelt is, the cocky, self-assured. She was just cute. I enjoyed watching her. And Kristen, of course, is always funny, but Sam kind of stole the show because he kept on cracking wise through the whole thing, being Sam. Anyway, so I just want to give you a few of the highlights. By the way, I had front row center seat, which I don't know how you can't score that good at Comic-Con.
No, lucky duck.
It was, and I was right in Sam's line of vision.
Ah, killing me.
So
I was stuck in New Orleans for a work conference and reading the Twitter updates and going, ah, ah.
It was fun because if I shouted something out, he heard me loud and clear, which I really had to restrain myself a lot because there was a lot of times where I really wanted to be snarky right back at him just for fun. But
You snarky? I don't believe it.
Oh, I really just wanted to play, but I had to remember there was a room full of people behind me, so... Anyway, so of course we had the moderator on the panel asking, questions, and then they opened the floor for a Q&A with the fans. And a fan question, one of the fan questions that Kristen responded to, said they wanted to know, is there going to be more Jessica and Pam getting together, buddy. And Kristen says that she would like to work more with Deborah Ann Woll. She says there's going to be a little bit more between Pam and Jessica. It's she described it as kind of a slow build. So I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I'm thinking that there's maybe a little relationship forming there. It would be cool because they're kind of like big sister, little sister. Mm-hmm. So, and Kristen really would like that because she really, really likes working with Deborah. And she loves Jessica's character, and she thinks that it could be a lot of fun, her and Pam together. So, that got a lot of, yays. Because, of course, everybody loves Jessica. So, among winks and nods between Britt and Kristen says that she's very excited about Britt's role in season 4. Yeah, they were doing a lot of, winking and nodding and giggling, and Kristen was just really excited about some of the scenes that she saw Britt play as Debbie, so something to look forward to there.
I was really surprised when that came out because I hadn't heard a thing about Debbie coming back in season 4. So, Joe's kind of alluded to she's not off the show, she's still around, but this is the first time we've heard that she's actually going to be on the show and maybe playing a rather substantial role.
Yeah, I'm thinking she's going to be pretty tough adversary, and I'm thinking that she still wants to go after Sookie, but I don't know. She's pretty mad at Alcide, so I don't know. It should be fun. With the pack wars that we've been hearing about and talking about, who knows? Maybe she's picking a side that's opposed to Alcide. That could be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, some technical stuff. They were talking about receiving the script. Some shows, they're real secretive about, what they reveal to their actors on the show before the scene. They often don't get their script or their lines until minutes before they shoot. But on True Blood, it's different. They get their scripts sometimes up to 2 weeks in advance. So that kind of just shows you the level of trust that the writers and Alan Ball and the team really have in their actors to keep things low key and just it's all about keeping the fans surprised and interested, which I think to me for this show go hand in hand. So I don't know. Sam said that he had a lot of respect for the respect that they're shown, basically is what was said. And of course the inevitable question to Kristen, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hot is Alexander Skarsgård for reals? And she said, point immediately without blinking an eye, 11.
You can always count on Kristen.
Right. And Britt was so adorable because she just sat there, put her head in her hand, and just sighed. She's just like she's got this crush on Skarsgård, and I just thought it was so adorable. She was just, I don't know. It was cute.
You must give him so much crap on set, don't you think?
I think they do. Yeah, I'm sure they do. So, Oh, let's see what else we have. A fan asked if we get to see more of Pam's past when she was turned by Eric. And Kristen wouldn't go into any details at all, but she said she'd love it. She would love a story where they really dug into Pam's history and explore the relationship between Pam and Eric at that time. I would love to see that too. Maybe they will. You never know.
No.
A lot of not being said. So, but she did say that Pam's and Eric's relationship is obviously going to undergo a change due to the fact that Eric is going to be in a different situation for season 4, which we all know what it is. So that's going to be interesting to see. I know how it's played out in the book, and I thought it was pretty funny, but I will be I'm just so curious to see how they're going to put that on the show, the relationship between Eric and Pam while he's gone.
Yeah. And with those two actors involved, yeah, I'm eager to see that show.
Yeah. Kristen very excitedly states in her words, quote, Pam is effing bitch-tastic this season, although she didn't say effing. She actually said the word. Trying to keep it clean here.
Yeah.
But she's bitch-tastic this season. And I don't know. I think that needs to be on a T-shirt. Hello, HBO. Pam is bitch-tastic. Kristen explains that she knows Pam so well that when she has to speak her lines and perform her part there, reacting to a scene, they don't really have to direct her too much because she's just so, Pam is so much a part of her and vice versa that it just all comes naturally to her. So I found that interesting. I'm sure that's the way it is with all the characters on set by now.
Sure, the ones that have been there from the beginning, they get to know their characters so well.
Yeah, and for her, and we've heard her say this before, that there's a lot of Pam that's a lot like her. Mm-hmm. And she reiterated that, too. And, so it's a very comfortable skin for her to slip into. So it's cool. It comes across that way, too, on the screen. A fan question, who is their favorite character on the show? I love when fans ask this question because I love their replies. Britt says that hers is Jessica. She absolutely adores that character and just thinks she's fun and just a great new character in the show that wasn't written in the books. Sam loves Terry Belfleur, and he says, I know, right? Terry gets some love. He says Terry is hilarious and has some of the best lines, and he referred to one of his favorite scenes from last season when Terry was reading his list to Arlene through the bathroom door. He talked about the armadillo and whatnot. He just thought that was the funniest scene ever, and he loves Terry.
That armadillo, he's getting a lot of play.
Yeah, we had a funny story from Paley Fest too about that armadillo. How that animal would never be used again, at least as far as Todd was concerned. Poor Todd.
Oh, yeah, he made an impression, that's for sure.
Yes. Smelly one, too.
Yeah.
The question was asked about the special relationship that was mentioned at Paley Fest and kind of got around the internet between Eric and Lafayette. And the only thing that the three could reveal was that they have been having a lot of fun with Lafayette this season. That's all they would say. Yeah.
Like their characters in particular, or the show as a whole?
Yeah, I think the show as a whole that's what I gleaned from it. They weren't specific. There was a lot they weren't specific on, of course. So interesting. It's going to be fun to see Lafayette. So I guess I'm assuming we're going to see even more of Lafayette.
Cool. I like him.
Yeah. Sam says that Sam Lot will get some love this season, which we knew. At that point, that's the only time I let myself go, and I shouted out, "Will she live?" Sam laughed. He thought that was pretty funny. He says, yeah. He said, that's a great question. Very pointed question.
And did he answer it?
He, all he would say was, that Sam seems to have bad luck with the ladies as far as that's concerned, and he went on to elaborate on what happened to his past loves on the show, but he never really answered the question.
Ah, sneaky!
I know. Aren't they, though? How they hide things over and cover them up with other things? Yes, I get the distraction.
Yes.
Sam talked a bit about filming his nude scenes. He actually has to go into makeup for that. Did you know that?
Yeah, I mean, the skin has to show up correctly on film. So,
I had no clue.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A little bronzer here, a little rouge there.
I'm sorry, but it struck me so funny, and I could not stop laughing through that whole thing. But he says it's a lot like going on a date without trying to hook up. Everybody cracked up, especially Kristen and Britt. They were asked if they got to suggest storylines for their characters. At which point Sam went into this story how he wrote a multi-page storyline for Sam Merlot and gave it to Alan. Well, I died. I died because I know. I mean, we've heard Alan in other interviews and other videotape stuff, Q&As and stuff, and he doesn't do that. You know, he hires his writers and he hires his actors, and never the twain shall meet. So when Sam started talking about that, I just died laughing because I just knew that Alan would never look at that.
No.
He's just not gonna. So poor Sam went through all that work for nothing.
Well, it probably was a good exercise for Sam as far as exploring his character and, you know, finding motivations and things.
True.
But yeah, Alan's not going to do that.
No, and he's sure that Alan has yet to read it. You know, I'm sure he just kind of patted Sam on the head and said, that's nice. Put it away.
That's cute, honey.
Gave it to his assistant. Here, file this somewhere. File this with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. The moderator asked what the cast thought was the real appeal of True Blood and, you know, why it's appealed so much to the masses in the scale that it has. And Kristen and Sam both credit the cast and crew. They say that everyone on staff is so marvelous. It's reflected in each episode, from the writers to the, you know, the people moving the cameras around. Everybody just puts 120% into each episode. And, you know, he just thinks that comes across really well for the show, and that really, you know, that kind of quality pulls people in. I agree.
Yeah.
You know, even when they're being campy, they're the best at it.
Yeah, that's true. They've kind of cornered the market on that, haven't they?
They really have. I mean, they know. You know, they know what their show is. And, you know, I don't know. I just think they're really good at what they do. Britt was asked about her audition for the part of Debbie Pelt, and she said that when she found out that this was an Alan Ball project, she was so on board, and she really wanted to do it, but she was really nervous because it was Alan Ball.
Yeah.
She stuttered through her whole audition.
Aww.
I know, poor thing, bless her heart, and she left there feeling like she didn't have a chance on the face of God's green earth, but she got the part, and she was stoked. So something about her appealed to Alan, and, you know, again, going back to what we've heard Alan say in the past about his auditions and what he looks for in his characters, he looks for the actor to bring the character to life for him. She must have done that.
Yeah.
Even through her stuttering. I don't know, something. I'm sure she didn't stutter through the whole thing.
No. Well, maybe that showed just a little bit of Debbie's insecurity.
Oh.
You know?
Okay, yeah. That would be perfect then. Kristen, of course, she found out she landed her part as Pam via text message while she was shooting a film in the Philippines. Text message. Technology today. And finally, one last, I can't remember the question. I think it was a fan question, but Sam just thought Pam's clothes rocked. And he especially liked the red thing that she wore last year at Fantasia during the Teacup Human.
Sparkly 80s jumpsuit thing?
Yeah. He said black at first, and Kristen looked at him like, you know, he had two heads and said, it was red. Where have you been? So, anyway, It was a lot of fun. It was what you expect out of these three people in a panel. There was a lot of people there, but it wasn't the scale of Comic-Con or even Paley Fest, because I don't think that the Chicago Expo is as widely known.
Right.
Or maybe it's the timing, it's right on the heels of Paley Fest, just before WonderCon. So I don't know. I think that they're trying, but one of the fans, said that, it was really great that True Blood represented in Chicago this year, and was hoping that next year even more of the cast would come. So hopefully, it was a success, I think, and they were doing signings, for 3 days.
Yeah.
So, hopefully it was a big enough success to where they'll bring them back next year. I hope so. I do want to give a quick shout out to Jan, who I met. She was sitting behind me during the panel. She's a Truie, and she's also a Chuck fan. So she recognized me from both the Chuck podcast and this podcast. So, hi, Jan. It was nice meeting you.
Yeah. Right on. So, all right, Liz's adventures in Chicago with True Blood. But the weekend before that, we were in Austin for South by Southwest, where Liz was invited to join a panel with HBO's marketing and advertising department to represent True-Blood.net. It was Liz. It was the vice president of marketing at HBO. It was the head of their social media, and then people from Digital Kitchen and Campfire, who have both are agencies that have worked on the campaigns for True Blood in various capacities, were all there on the panel. So Dan the Fanatic, True Blood's marketing hook. And it focused on the ideas behind the marketing strategies for the first 3 seasons of True Blood. And Liz got to get up there and talk about how the viral campaigns and merchandising have allowed the fans to feel kind of part of this what do they call it? Hyper reality?
Yeah, world within a world kind of thing.
Of True Blood. Like those billboards and ads for Monster and Geico and Harley Davidson, where they inserted vampires into existing brand names, which was really inspired. That was for season 2, I believe. So you got to get up there and talk about that. It was a packed room, standing room only, and they were turning people away at the door, which fortunately Liz did not know until afterward.
Yeah.
She was nervous.
I was nervous enough.
Yeah. But it was really interesting to hear them talking about how they put together these marketing campaigns and what drives them to do it, and what their incentive, what their goal is as they're designing these campaigns. And something that I took away from it was that last year it was about sort of celebrating the fans, and this year for season 4 it's going to be about including the fans. Their overarching goal will be to include the fans as they advertise and market season 4. So we've got just a little bit of a whiff of some things that are on the way for this marketing campaign. And it sounds, they never do the same thing twice.
Right.
So, yeah, there's some interesting things coming down the pipe for marketing for season 4.
Yeah. And they're as excited to launch that as we are to find out what they're going to do. They wouldn't say anything. We tried to get them to spill, but they wouldn't.
Yeah, they wouldn't get very specific, but they were pretty giddy about the ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. And we met somebody special there. I was so excited. We met Andrew from Blood Copy.
That's right. Who looks nothing like you would expect,
Nope.
Since Andrew is a she in real life. Yeah, when Liz was introducing me, I was like, who am I supposed to be meeting here? But yeah, it was the woman behind the character of Andrew from Blood Copy.
Who knew?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I'm sure her friends knew, but
well, yeah.
it was great.
It was fun to talk to her because she was still, even though Blood Copy's not really doing that anymore, now it's their Twitter app. She was still just really excited about what she'd been able to do for the first 2 seasons as that character.
Yeah, it's fun. There's an audio, I just found out today, there's an audio of that panel over at the South by Southwest website, which is just SXSW.com. I haven't gone over there to look for it, but if you find it, maybe I'll have time later to go look for it. But if you're interested, seeing what they all talked about, it was really an interesting panel. I know I learned a whole lot.
Yeah, me too.
And I know the moderator she'd like to do something again next year, only with a different theme. So, I don't know, ideas? That'd be cool. Shoot her some ideas.
Yeah, what do you guys want to know about? What do you, as fans, want to know about the, I don't know, not the show itself, but kind of the behind-the-scenes parts of the show, specifically their internet, because this is the integrated portion of South by Southwest, which deals with internet and related media. So
yeah, and the fan involvement.
Mm-hmm.
HBO is really kind of the first ones to really do it to the extent that they did, to involve the fans. They picked...
To really grasp the medium and the way that they could leverage the fan base, yeah. And I think it's really important to note that Mike Minnello, who is the head of Campfire, right?
Yes.
He is one of the co-creators of the Blair Witch Project from 2000, which had an enormous impact on internet marketing. If any of you guys remember that, it turned into this huge viral campaign. I think, it was basically the original viral campaign for this movie. And I remember it. I was working at an internet service provider at the time, so I actually had really decent internet connection. So I was able to go look at all these different things and was just amazed at what they were doing and how they were blurring the lines between, fiction and reality. And after that movie, there was a sequel, and he was telling us on the panel, or maybe it was at lunch earlier, that he wasn't very happy with the way that was going. The producing movies, he was getting bigger budgets because of the success of the Blair Witch Project, but he wasn't really happy with what they were going to be doing with that money. And so that's when he started Campfire and started doing more internet marketing and, ended up with HBO and has helped design some of these really groundbreaking campaigns, which I thought was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I was really excited when we found out that that's who he was.
Yeah.
I think I stopped in the middle of lunch and was like, oh my gosh! Who is Jane Girling over here?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So that's it for news, I think.
I think that wraps up our travel and special events. My goodness, Haley says South by Southwest, C2E2. Let's stay home for a little bit.
Okay. I'm down with that. His next big thing is Comic-Con. Really excited.
Yeah.
Woo. So we've got one reader email that I wanted to put up there because we get this comment a lot, and I know we've answered it before, but more of one-on-one, just answering the individual comment or email. So maybe if we put it in the podcast, it might help you guys out, though. Linda says, under topic of Season 3 being rerun, yay! I wonder if HBO would listen if we requested more than 13 episodes per season. Can we start a petition? Just the thought. Thank you, Linda. You know what, Mel, you can explain that a lot better as to how the cable companies, the cable stations do that with their filming.
Well, I know Linda was being a little cheeky in this suggestion, but, we do get a lot of inquiries. Why is this season so short? Why are there only 12 episodes? Why does it take so long? It's because cable TV just works differently than the broadcast networks. They have a little more time, for one thing. They go for the higher production quality. We're seeing some of that in broadcast TV as HD makes big inroads into, the everyday living room. But for the most part, the answer is that cable TV works on a shorter broadcast schedule. In the U.S., it's a lot like UK television or European television, or pretty much everywhere except in the U.S., where we expect, 22 or 24 episodes from each season. Everywhere else in the world, it ranges from, 6 to 12 or 13 episodes per season. So, or I think recently Primeval in the UK, I think they had 5 episodes for their most recent season. So it's more of a European model, or more of a global model, in that they are able to put more time, more resources, more money into creating. They create fewer episodes, but they're at a higher quality. And because they're not, especially in HBO's case, they're subscriber supported, not ad supported, that gives them a lot more freedom as well as far as content. So, and they don't have to try to sell to advertisers, we're going to have 22 episodes and we guarantee this many viewers. They don't have to do that because they're on a subscriber model. So it's a lot of just kind of, this is the way cable does it, and it's a model based on UK and European and even Canadian television to produce a higher quality product. Kind of aggravating when we're waiting for 9 months between seasons, and and then it comes and we're excited, and then it's over already. But they've been doing it this way for years since HBO got into the original content production, and it's what works.
It does. I know Merlin too is is a UK product, and they only have, I think, 11 or 12 episodes per season. Mm-hmm. So maybe 13, maybe, but that's norm.
Yeah, and that's another interesting thing about the international production schedules is that they don't have a standard, every season will be this many episodes. Instead it's, we feel like doing this many. We have the budget for this many episodes, so that's how many we're going to do. So it could vary from season to season. There's it's just the way that they work. It's a different business model, and it's a different artistic model than broadcast television. So,
would you rather have True Blood on, NBC or ABC? I don't think so. Might get.
No, we like it on HBO.
I know you might get more episodes, but they wouldn't be what you're getting right now. Not anywhere near it.
Yeah, that shower scene, forget it. Not happening.
Mm-mm.
Not the way that HBO is going to do it. Not the way Ellen Ball's going to do it.
Right. So hope that answers your question and helps smooth things over a little bit. Thanks, Linda. And that's it. I think we're going to move into spoilers right now. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you don't want to know what's coming up, you want to stay fresh for the premiere, turn us off, shut us down, and we'll see you next week.
And now we're on to spoilers. True Blood Season 4 production continues, and our friend Melody has provided a scoop on what's coming up at episode 407, titled Cold Gray Light of Dawn. That sounds kind of bleak. I'm wondering if there's been a battle of some sort in episode 6.
I don't know, but it sounds like this morning here.
Oh, yeah, here too. Well, for this episode, they're casting Dr. Asani. She's an ER doctor who is South Asian, and she reluctantly discharges a patient, which of course begs the question, who's the patient? Is it Arlene with baby troubles? And you know how Carrie keeps talking about the problem with the baby grows exponentially? I think she's having twins. I think that's what that's referencing. I think they're being really clever with their word choice.
I never thought of that.
Maybe triplets. Can you imagine Arlene with triplets and Carrie with triplets?
Oh my!
Hilarious.
Oh.
But anyway, you know, this doctor is unhappy about releasing a patient, and I was curious about why there's this emphasis on her ethnicity. Is it because she's at a hospital somewhere in South Asia, or I don't understand why they specified that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. We had suggested previously that this season we'll see the battle for Packmaster that occurs in book 5 in the series, and it turns, that whole thing is what turns Suki off Alcide finally for good. And it looks like that is going to happen in season 4. You know, we have Raoul, who's the Packmaster, and he's on for 7 episodes this season. Well, now they're casting Chuck and Nate, who are a pair of pack wolves in their late 20s or early 30s, and they want to be alpha males. And they'll be recurring. So I'm guessing that they're going to be challenging Raoul somehow. Maybe they're from a different competing pack. I don't know if they're competing, but just from a different pack. I don't know. So there's some drama in the works there. And then speaking of battles, the Wiccan storyline is getting a couple of new members. Trevor is the boyfriend of a member of a Wiccan group. She brings him along for support, and he's described as a stoner with a lot of spiritual energy. And also being cast as Lou Ellen, who is the ex-sister-in-law of a member of the group, and she's also brought along for support. It's unclear if the person bringing the member of the group is bringing both of them, or if it's 2 different members of the group. But that also begs the question of why they need to bring these people along for support. Are they casting a spell that needs additional spiritual energy to succeed, or is this part of the witch battle and their energy sources? And the battle, the witch wars are going on. So both of these characters are also recurring. So we'll be seeing them in more than one episode.
Well, now we have something for Who Is.
That's right.
So that'll be interesting.
And it's a real big Who Is.
Yeah.
Who are you people? What are you doing?
Let the speculation begin. I love it. Mm-hmm. You guys have such great ideas. I love reading your comments when we put those up.
Yeah.
Well, New York Post Pop Rap reveals that Ryan spoke of next season as taking place a full year. The premiere, the beginning, it's going to take place a full year after events at the end of season 3. I don't know how true that is, but I don't know if Ryan's just pulling our leg or what, but, it would certainly move things along as far as Arlene's baby.
Well, in fact, the baby would have been born, or babies would have been born.
So it would certainly move a lot of storylines along, and they'd be able to explain a lot quicker, events going down. So it would seem more believable, I think. So, interesting. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and that also will have removed Sookie from Bill for a year. And will she have been in Fairyland the whole time?
Yeah.
I think she would have been missed if she was gone for that long.
Yeah. Based on the video, the clip that HBO just released about Jason, maybe nobody is aware. There's so much else going on. Lafayette.
No, after a year, she would have been missed. I mean, Sam would have, if nothing else, this waitress schedule at Merlot would have had to be
that's true.
revamped,
That's true.
She does have a job and friends and a brother.
That's true. Well, maybe she wasn't gone for the whole year. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe she goes and visits on the weekends or something, just training.
give her a weekend pass.
Anna said that she's learning how to use her powers, so...
Where else?
Interesting.
Where else could she learn it then?
You're right. Yeah, and that just blows up in a whole bunch of storyline possibilities.
Yeah, really does. Tara being gone and then coming back, she would have had time. One person commented that it would give Tara time to open up the shop that she had in the books.
Right. That's true.
Which would ground her and certainly make her different. Being in charge of a store, it's completely different than what she's, barmaid or, working at, a discount store, department store, whatever. This would certainly change her. Mm-hmm. Give her more confidence.
Exactly. It would be unexpected for the character. Ooh, I like this.
Yeah.
Ryan, you better not be yanking our chain.
Yeah, I know. That'd be so cool.
Hunt you down. Well, TV Guide has a nugget of fresh True Blood scoop for us, seeming to confirm a speculation that you and I had speculated on in a recent podcast, speculating on a speculation. James says, thanks for the True Blood spoilers. Got anything else? And Natalie from TV Guide, she says, remember that creepy doll we saw at Jessica and Hoyt's new home in the season finale? This is a quote from Alan Ball. I can tell you that the doll is more than just a doll. That doll has a passenger.
Passenger.
Now, I was thinking hidden camera planted by Summer or Maxine, Hoyt's mom. You keep an eye on things because, of course, we saw the doll collection, Summer's creepy doll collection thing. So that's what I was thinking. Other people have speculated that it has something to do with the witch war, that maybe Hallow cast a spell on it. I'm not really sure how that would, how did she know already to watch those two?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure about that, but.
Yeah, I'm not
in
sure.
True Blood, dolls are still creepy.
I know, especially with the porcelain faces.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Maxine got herself mixed up in something, just out of her anger, to both of them.
Yeah, I could see that.
We'll see. Interesting. And then getting back to that video clip that HBO released, it apparently does look like we're going to go down the path of Jason turning into a partial werepanther.
Woo!
I
Already?
know. Looks like we're going to see his transformation and how it looks yucky.
Well, I mean, this is True Blood. They're not going to do it in a clean, PG manner.
No. No, but Crystal looks a little bit wonky, doesn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like maybe they've just been through some sort of a battle or a fight.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
and
she's all bloody and
he's supposed to be, they're in a shed,
mm-hmm.
apparently, which is...
So is that something having to do with, when in the book, Jason's transformation has to do with punishment because of his relationship with Crystal?
Right.
So maybe this is playing out already. I'm so surprised that we're doing this already.
Yeah, so soon. A jealous lover. Weird, yeah. They're moving things along really quick, which makes me think, should this show continue to go on and on and on, we, I don't know, may get into even more stuff like beyond what Charlene has written.
Mm-hmm. Well, we kind of already are, so...
Right.
In a few places.
Yeah.
So, exciting stuff!
Well, it's time to wrap it up for this week. We want to thank you all for joining us. Our show was written and produced by Mel and myself. Music is courtesy of Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. This vodcast is copyright True-Blood.net. All rights are reserved. True-Blood.net is not affiliated with HBO or the cast and crew of True Blood. Be sure to bookmark True-Blood.net and watch for our next week's vodcast to go up on Thursday, hopefully, barring any problems. And we'll have the latest and best news for you, and photos, videos, whatever else is out there.
Well, we also want to thank our editor, Hunter, for doing such a fine job with our podcast. And on a programming note, our iTunes feed is up and running. You can search for True Blood Radio on iTunes in the podcast category and find us there. Subscribe and you'll get the audio version of this podcast every week. And as always, don't forget to send in your comments or questions to webmaster@true-blood.net. We'll see you next week, Trubies.
Take care.